You're shuffling a stack of crumpled pour-it notes in your mouth, trying not to slobber on Exhibit B, fishbone polished clean, which is exactly the point. The courtroom smells like sardines and anxiety. The Honorable Judge Bartholomew, a Neapolitan mastiff in a powdered wig, grumbles from the bench. Their lead counsel, a sleek Siamese named Mudrick Clarence, is licking his paw as if preparing to bat your entire case into a trash can. But you're ready? Proceed, counselor. You adjust your necktie and clear your throat with a proud arf. Across the aisle, the Feline Federation lounges in smug silence. Shh. You continue. We'll show that paw prints were found on the lids. That Whiskers' Nankinine whiskers were scattered at the scene. That tuna breath was sniffed hand. We all know that's impossible to hide. You stomp a paw dramatically and point at the evidence table. Ladies and gentlepaws, I intend to prove that on the night of the Fish Feast Festival, the cats knowingly, willingly, and with claws sharpened, stole the last 26 tins of tuna from the community pantry. This trial isn't about fairness, it's about justice, and the dogs are hungry. A collective gasped meal rises from the gallery. One elderly Persian faints onto a ferret. He flaps dramatically to the stand, swearing on a sunflower seed to tell the squawk. The whole squawk, and nothing but the squawk. Percy's feathers are ruffled, literally. You squint. This bird knows something. The cats hiss in unison. To bolster your point, you pull out a faded newspaper clipping from 1947. When a similar food scandal erupted at a military dog base in Alaska, Operation Husky Chow, one licked the glass. I haven't slept since. Great view. Cats came in, tiptoed like ballet dancers with knives, squawk, took everything. Dogs had accused polar foxes of swiping their rations. The trial ended in a snowball fight and 6 dishonorable discharges. Your Honor, he purrs, while we understand the dogs are upset, might I remind everyone that the pantry has no lock and the word sharing is scratched above the entrance? Turns out he knocked over a ceremonial candle next to the evidence table. Chaos explodes. Papers scatter. The jury howls. One puppy tries to chase the flaming squirrel mid-testimony. She shuffles in wearing a tie too big and a trench coat suspiciously stolen from someone's laundry line. Amid the chaos, someone noticed one of the cats, Fluffy, the white one with a twitchy eye drop of fishbone. Identical to Exhibit B. Coincidence? You don't believe in them? You ask gently, Guppy. What did you witness? Isn't this just another case of canine jealousy wrapped in fish breath? Judge Bartholomew grunts. Interesting precedent. Keep going. You're bruised but not broken. This is it. Final arguments. Fellow tail waggers. We aren't just sniffing up old bones here, you begin. This is about something deeper. One dramatic feint from a dachshund sitting next to the other dachshund. Something sacred. You slide your slobberdamp notes back into your collar and address the jury, all 12 mutts, staring back at you with perked ears and twitching noses. Clarence now slinks up for his rebuttal, tails swaying like a metronome set to smug. Click. A mysterious paw hits a remote. The fire alarm goes off. Sprinklers blast. And from the ceiling, his voice echoes like thunder rolling over a dog park. A canister marked Fleabagone XL crashes down and explodes in a fog of minty terror. One faints. D. The squirrel still slightly singed waves at you from a tree outside. They exhale, finally letting your hackles fall. Justice isn't always neat or dry or flea-free, but tonight it curled up at your paws and purred. Figuratively. Now close your eyes, scratch behind your ears, and dream of a world where tuna is shared and squirrels don't catch fire. Another demands an appeal, but it's over. You won. Justice, like a bacon treat, is best served warm. The cats have had their 9 lives and their 9 chances, but this time they got caught in the litter box. The gallery erupts. I might have. It's the same species that once buried a peace treaty under the garden gnome for later. I mean, dogs are always sniffing around food. The rabbits in the front row are taking notes. The courtroom mouse is holding up scorecards. One reads 2 tense argument, but good tail flick. Even the mice flee, which, frankly, is impressive given their usual confidence. You squint at Clarence. You call your first witness. Percy, the parrot. You lunge and douse the squirrel in the judge's water bowl. He now steams slightly, then runs out humming Highway to Hell. Percy, you ask, where were you the night the tuna tins disappeared? I was on the chandelier, Squawk. Clarence objects. Hearsay. Parrots just repeat things. Judge Bartholomew shrugs, and don't say suspicious things around parrots. Next up, Guppy, the traumatized goldfish. He strolled inside a mobile fishbowl and looks like he'd seen the bottom of the ocean. They came from the shadows. It's vague, but the emotional damage earned sympathy from the jury, especially the Labradors. Clarence counters with their own witness. Margot the raccoon, allegedly an unbiased observer. Margot, Clarence purrs. You saw the dogs near the pantry too, didn't you? Margot hesitates. You pounce. Miss Margot, is it true you were caught on camera last week, stealing 14 cupcakes and a flip-flop? Objection, Clarence shouts. Overruled, the judge mutters. Cupcake theft is serious. Before anyone can respond, boom. A wild squirrel darts across the courtroom ceiling, fully engulfed in flames. Order, order, barks Judge Bartholomew, swatting the air with his gavel. The moment actually works in your favor. You call for a recess, mostly to calm your nerves, and also because someone peed on the jury bench. Back in your corner, you whispered to your assistant beagle. We one paw swipe away from a confession. You're back on your paws, the courtroom stinking of wet fur, singed squirrel tail, and what may or may not be anchovy breath, Your Honor. You pause for effect, letting a cricket chirp from under the podium. When we dogs agreed to share this kingdom, we didn't sign up to be licked clean of our rations. A few gasps. A cough from a dachshund. Clarence rises with perfect poise. Your Honor, he says, smooth as a hairball down a marble hallway. Do we really believe the dogs? He paces. And need I remind you of the Great Kennel Revolt of 1933, when a group of overexcited poodles ruined the treaty between dogs and guinea pigs by chasing them into a duck pond? The jury winces. History cuts deep. Then, just as Judge Bartholomew lifts his gavel for the final verdict. Chaos. Screaming. Scratching. You're rolling on the floor as your collar bursts open. Clarence is climbing the curtains. The misty madness, the judge howls. Enough. Hereby rule in favor of the dogs, the cats hiss. As the courtroom clears, the chaos fades into a warm blur of wet noses and tail wags. End of script. Thanks for following along.